Let's start. Okay, here is a CD4, CD4 and CD8, CD8 and CD4 where we stop. Okay, CD4 is a helper cell. This one is a helper cell, and this is called a suppressor or cytotoxic cell. Cytotoxic or cell killer cell, that's called cyto suppressor cell. Suppressor cell. When this will work, suppressor, when 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 this is working, this will not work. When this is working, this will not work. So they both together, when CD4 is working, CD8 will not work, and CD8 is working, CD4 will not work. But most of time when CD8 is not working, CD8 is working, CD4 will not work, will not work. Okay, so you have to remember that is why we this cell we call suppressor cell. Suppressor cell where we stop was here. CD4 and CD8. CD4 is a cluster differentiation 4, and CD8 is a cluster differentiation 8. And number 4 is a protein. Number 4 is a protein. It is a protein. Number of protein. Sorry. Number of protein. Okay, so you have to remember what is a cluster differentiation. That is why this two cell is called what? T cell. What do you call that cell? Both are T cell, but they have different work. The most important cell is a CD4, but CD8 is also a good cell. Okay, so when 4 is powerful immunity working, the 8 will suppress. 8 will when 8 will immunity is working, 4 will suppressed. Okay, so how immunity works? This two lymphocyte. Now first we should know who is our enemy. Anemia. You should know what is our enemy. Enemy is called antigen. Antigen. Enemy called antigen. Okay, that means only proteins are enemies. Only proteins are enemy. That means what I mean to say is antigen is made of protein. Only protein. In our body, everything functionable is because of this protein. And outside antigen is also called made of protein are enemies. Proteins are our enemy. Only proteins are enemy. Remember that only proteins are antigen. Okay, but you remember it means carbohydrate and fats are not enemy. Enemy is called antigen. Who is enemy? Who is enemy? Who is enemy? Protein. Outside protein or inside protein, whatever, but it should be antigen should be protein, and all proteins are antigen. That what I meant to say is carbohydrate and fats are not our enemies, not our antigen, and they are not antigens. Only protein can be antigen. Okay, but there is a one criteria. Criteria means only a big things are enemies. Smaller things are not enemies. Big things means what? Protein should be more than 60 angstrom. Bigger. They should not be smaller than this. Should be more than 60 angstrom, so they can be enemy. They can be an antigen or enemy. Okay, that you have to remember. Sometimes the smaller proteins are very clever. Sometimes the smaller proteins are very clever. Sometimes they bind with our protein and fulfill the criteria. How? You see, How? I'll make it clear for you. Yes, this is a penicillin. This is the penicillin. But they are not more than 60 angstrom. They are not more than 60 angstrom. But they sit on the, this is, what do you call this, is penicillin. Penicillin. Okay. They sit on what? They sit on a, they are very clear. Sometimes smaller proteins are very, very clear. They sit on the our albumin. They sit on our albumin and they become bigger. They come and they become more than 60 angstrom size. Size very important for a protein. So always remember, penicillin sit on our albumin and become protein and fulfill the criteria of being antigen. So they are called hapten. They what do you call they? We are calling hapten. 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 Remember, this is very important. Hapten. That protein we call is hapten. If you think in one disease the fat is antigen, in the second disease DNA is antigen, but most of time proteins our antigen and they become enemies. So always remember, the protein is our enemy, protein is our antigen. They should be more bigger than 60 angstrom, and some proteins sit on the like penicillin, like example we are giving example of penicillin sit on albumin. There are many protein who sit on the albumin and become bigger protein and then become antigen. So always remember that that the protein we call or the antigen we call hapten. Remember that is very important.